All right, so I'm gonna let this run and put all these videos together. They're all separated right now, but before I allow this to start, I just want to do a quick little intro and say, please, if you want to see my channel grow, please try to like, follow, subscribe, share the videos, talk to your friends about what I'm doing. I know that I need to continue working on my craft, and that is part of doing this before I decide whether or not I want to do a podcast full time or not. Next year, it would be if I do it, it'll be next year. I know it can be, my videos get a little long. I am doing extensive breakdowns. We'll see how that plays out and what you guys like. Please give feedback. Please drop comments about, not just whether or not you agree with what I'm breaking down, but also, how I'm presenting the content. And I'm just, like I said, I'm working on the craft. So once again, please try to like, follow, share the videos. And with no further ado, here goes my breakdowns. All right, so first play of defense, hard time telling whether it was a zone play or man. Thinking this man, just kind of hard to tell. Doing a lot of shifting, and they do have a lot. One thing is a lot of check off in man coverage, where if somebody goes in motion, like when you see the guy coming across the line here, he maybe would have been defended by this guy, but they'll check that off, and then the responsibility changes. I'm not in love with that, necessarily, because sometimes I think it confuses, the defense gets confused about who's supposed to pick up the man, and they do this a lot. It's a little problematic at times, I think, but once again, this could be zone. It's hard to tell all the time. It's harder. It's one of the harder points of trying to break down the defensive play calling, is because without having a good field of view and really knowing what play was called, I can't. It's sometimes depending on how fast the play goes, it's harder to tell whether it was a zone or a man coverage. One of the issues I do have though here is actually okay. So our defensive end is going to get penetration here, okay, and it basically could have gotten the sack here. But once again, we've seen this all year, and I believe this is Jordan Birch. He is going to go to the back shoulder of the quarterback. Now, granted, obviously the defender was here, but he could have crashed just a little bit further inside. Um, the pursuit angle is slightly off. And Coach White had talked about this in a press conference himself, and it was before the Kentucky game, and they had talked about how they had been working on that really hard, and it showed in the Kentucky game. But now, are we no longer working on it? It's something that's got to stay consistent with the players from game to game. I'm not necessarily satisfied um, with the fact that we missed the play there. But it's very hard to tell. Like I said, tell which kind of covers they were in. If this was a zone, we are continuing to be getting beat with a soft zone coverage and like a slant kind of route like this one was. I can't tell if this is a slant or a crossing route because I can't see the receiver. And this is a slant, a little bit deeper slant than probably normal. It's coming from the wide out position. So if this was a zone coverage, the slant coming underneath it, and we continue to get beat with that. We're going to see that probably some more in this game as I've gone through and was initially recording these videos and stuff. I've seen that a few times where we're continuing to get beat on underneath zone coverage. So we can keep an eye on that as the game goes. That's definitely one of the things I'm trying to watch for. Um, Another reason I think this might be zone coverage, A, is because of how the guy was, sneaking underneath there, but also when Clayton White's in zone coverage and he hasn't consistently used it, at least not the last several games I've been breaking down, um, he never sends any any blitzers. It's the line the D line is required to get the pressure, and the zone coverage is there, and it's usually a little soft, and there's always openings underneath. So once again, we'll continue watching for this as we go along. All right, so in the second play of the game, um, we get it, we stop them, just fine. I mean, there's nothing necessarily wrong with the play, but I'm going to use this play to point out some things that we're going to see going forward that I have an issue with. I feel like Clayton is not using spies enough, and especially considering the amount of read option and mobile quarterback teams that we're going against. A spy is a really good tool to have. You'll see that over here, I'm not sure who this is. It might be Birch again. Is he on the other side, maybe? No, it's maybe one of our linebackers or cornerback. It might be our cornerback. It might be Cam Smith. I haven't seen him. That's Cam Smith, I believe. He's responsible for either going, he has to be responsible for the QB, but he's not a spy here. He's just making sure the QB doesn't keep it versus being able to pursue here. Okay, if the edge defender knows that the spy is backing them up, and I had somebody say this because they were like, well, Jordan Birch always crashes in for the quarterback or the running back, or always crashes in on the play and doesn't make good reads on these read options. The problem is you have to commit, and that's how the read option game works. The quarterback is always going to look for somebody, where the end is going. In this case over here, he sees that Cam Smith is here. That he is not going to have the ability to break a run to that side himself. This could have been a straight handoff play, but more than likely it's a read option. They tend to use this a lot at Vandy, so it's probably a read option. He looks like he's reading the edge defender over here, and so he hands it off. If Cam Smith knows that there was a spy in this formation here, in this particular play design, if there had been a spy, he can go ahead and crash in on this guy. He doesn't have to fear the quarterback getting away because he would know somebody else is back here keeping an eye on the QB to come out of the backfield. And guys, I don't mean that, hey, you're going to have a spy on every play. That's not possible. But you need to put it in there some just to change their offensive play calling to mix it up on them to where they know sometimes there's a spy, and it's going to make them want to be more careful on how frequent they're calling up these read options. So especially going into the Florida game, that's going to be key. I really think we're going to really need to be spy heavy on AJ or AR, Anthony Richardson, excuse me, that's AJ, but AR, Anthony Richardson's a great running quarterback, mobile. They can run read options with him and a lot. So that's something we're going to want to make sure that we're ready for coming into Florida. And like I said here, once again, Cam could have crashed in here immediately as soon as this play was coming. He's got a line in here. Now, he's going that way away from him, of course, but he would have been able to, if he wasn't worried about reading the quarterback because he had a backup as a spy, he knows he could just crash that play. And that's the same thing for any other edge defender on that particular kind of play. Somebody was saying, oh, well, Jordan Birch always crashes the running back. True. Speaking in absolutes is always probably a smart idea. Nothing ever always happens on these plays like that. But what I will say to that effect is that's also sort of kind of predetermined a lot of times, that they know that going into a certain matchup, they want to shut down the running back more than they're worried about the quarterback per se. Like say in Kentucky, you knew that if the ball looked like it was going to Chris Rodriguez, you had to get to Chris Rodriguez. He was going to be more important than say the two quarterbacks they had, even though Levis was a pretty mobile quarterback, and even their backup was. You knew that you were going to have to shut down Rodriguez. So, of course, they're going to crash on that guy more. All right. So the next play is actually going to be an interception for us. Great, works out great. And Clayton White's zone coverages tend to work great for that in the deeper pass plays like this, but we're getting beat really bad underneath. So of course we get the interception on a pass there that was going deep down the field. I think I've identified, honestly, the last couple of plays were also zone coverages, which is really strange because Clayton tends not to run a lot of zone. But once again, out of zone, he doesn't send a lot of blitzers. And if you notice, there's nobody blitzing. Just the line is trying to get pressure. Most of the time, I've noticed and you can easily tell this is zone by, how this play is developed and where these guys are standing. This is not a man coverage. This is definitely a zone coverage defense. It was a lot easier to read that than the last couple, where the play had moved so fast. The running play, it's hard to identify zone coverage on a running play that, as well. So the first play was quick and the second play was a running play, but it kind of like they were possibly zones. And so, the zone coverage is great. It's got to be mixed in. I have noticed this from Clayton. It's kind of like, like people were criticizing Sad about was, the whole drive was runs or the whole drive was passes. And Clayton kind of gets stuck in one mode too. He's not mixing it up very well all the time. So we're going to keep an eye on that going forward. And we'll probably skip some plays in this breakdown. I'm getting to where obviously my videos are going really long, and I'm trying to learn how to get this content out to you guys and be a little bit better on the timing of it. So we'll probably skip through plays unless they're super important to the, I guess whatever narrative I'm focusing on. And that's the other thing. I don't want to focus on a narrative. I want to just kind of give the truth of every play, which is why I guess I give so much in a video. So anyway, let me go ahead and get into the next play. All right, so next play, kind of hard for me to tell once again whether this was man or zone. Possibly more likely zone. I still don't see a spy. Obviously the linebackers are back there, but you're gonna see them kind of crashing in, which tells me they're not really spying because they're definitely not QB spying. And then I feel like in this particular instance, at least one of these guys shouldn't have been crashing through the line. Obviously, I think 44 is Sherrod Green, and from where his position was, he had a hole to penetrate there. On the other side of that, this gentleman here, I'm not sure who it is. I don't even see his number, and I'd probably have to look his number up to know for sure. Probably didn't need to crash through the same area. He probably needed to be playing to this side. It was like he was gung-ho to go get the quarterback potentially, and then it's like, oh, well, I got to go over. I think that's Brad Johnson. That's not Brad Johnson. Who's zero? Debo. I think that's Debo Williams. It is Debo Williams. And, and that leaves us without numbers on the side and allows them to get, I feel like his pursuit should have taken him to the other side. He's both these guys should not be crashing on the quarterback on this particular play, unless they're delayed blitzers. I mean, unless this was a delayed blitz on these guys, but that doesn't look like a delayed blitz. It looks like they were, I don't know. It's very hard for me to tell. But the play was already plugged up here. The only place for it to go was going to be to the other side, and they both came crashing on this side and didn't give us any help on that side. So I'm not gonna say play calling was necessarily an issue unless it was, hey, they were blitzing, and then, I can't call that an issue yet because it hasn't been overly utilized in this game so far, which is a critique I've had of Clayton, is that, he overutilizes the blitz. But I can't say that was a blitz, and I can't say that, unless I know that was a blitz, that, the players didn't kind of mess that one up, because I feel like Williams should have, at least Williams, Sherrod Green not going to that side made sense because he was plugging up another hole, but Williams should probably have already been over on this side of the field, or running to that side of the field versus crashing through the line as you're going to see him do here, get this guy back here. So if going for the running back, isn't going to get to him from there. He needed to be diagnosing that the running back was going to have to run that way, that he had help over here, and let his teammates over here make the play on this side, and so he could go help his teammates on the other side of the field. Instead, he got caught up in all the bodies and was of no help to his team. So yeah. So now, quite the opposite of what somebody else had observed, where Jordan Birch always, I guess crashes the running back or whatever. I mean, or maybe they were saying he always crashes in. And in this particular instance, he is going in. But also, once again, if we start to implement a spy a little bit, that slows this down, because it didn't matter if he would have crashed in, or it would have given him the ability to focus on crashing on the running back, should I say, knowing that somebody else would have been backing him up to go for the quarterback if necessary. Um, but from where he was at, he basically, he had to make a decision to go one way or the other. He crashes in versus, hanging out towards the running back. Maybe he was trying to get to the quarterback. Quarterback doesn't have the ball. Now, you know, so if you throw a spy in there in these scenarios a little more, especially a team that's doing, I mean, they've run a lot of read options so far. A spy would really help back up these guys to where they can focus on taking out both the running back and the running back, and then allowing, sorry, not both, but they can, mostly focus on taking out the running back and allow the spy to pick up the QB, especially this QB who's, a mobile threat, but not, a serious mobile threat where we're worried that the linebacker's not going to be able to pursue them and take them down. All right, I'm going to use this play to kind of diagnose something. I meant to bring this up in one of the previous plays. Is how far back this guy is playing, and if this is man or whatnot on this receiver. And this killed us during Missouri, because if you went and watch my breakdowns, most of the time the play went to somewhere where the defender was just so far back, and it ended up giving them leverage and numbers in that particular area of the field, and Missouri just killed us there. And it took Clayton White, he really never fixed it. It still was happening in the fourth quarter. It just really, I think Missouri just kind of changed up their play calling once it was, that point in the game. They kind of were just not dialing up the same stuff, just trying to get the game over. Let the clock run down. This is, once again, is going to be yet another read option. So these guys are read optioning us to death, and we never have a spy. If you notice, Sherrod Green's going to, I think this is Green. He's going to read this play, and he's going to try to make a play. I guess he thought maybe the running back was coming this way, because he certainly didn't need to go for the quarterback, because we had this guy over here to get that guy. Now he didn't necessarily, maybe he didn't know this guy wasn't going to go for the, stay back for the quarterback. He wasn't going to make the read properly or whatever. I also, like I said, sometimes those are kind of depending on the play, like it's kind of already pre-designed, like, he was going to stay back for the quarterback. So I'm not sure why Green came to that side. So that's a little baffling to me. Why Green? I will say, not to let quite off the hook completely or anything. I do have some questions about this play call. I mean, look at these guys. Look how far back the coverage is on these two guys out here. There's so much field. If this were a pass play, we would get eat up here. I mean, there's just no way to defend this for these guys. Why are they so far back? It just doesn't make sense. And especially, our guys are very athletic. It's not like they're just going to get burnt by Vandy's receivers. I mean, even Mizzou's, it just that was the same thing. And these guys being so far back and just giving so much room on the underneath. Now, of course, this is a run play that didn't matter. And the theme that we're going to see in this game is that the defensive tackles can the big thing. The big thing that helped blow up the read option in this game, as I noticed it and watched it, was nothing more than whether or not our tackles were getting through, our defensive tackles were getting through and getting penetration. If those guys got through, it blew up the play. If those guys didn't get through, they usually got to the edge and got lots of yards out of it. So that's something we're going to keep watching for as well going forward. All right, so this looks like a zone coverage. It is a zone coverage. You can just tell by how Rush didn't stay with the man that was closest to him there. And maybe a delayed blitz on the zone coverage. It looks potentially like Williams was coming in on delayed blitz. But there's, Yeah, I mean, so like, maybe they sent 5 and dropped everybody, the rest in the coverage. And then we just get burnt on it, guys. I mean, there's no better way of stating this one. I don't know why this video just won't play through what's going on with it. But, oh, I know what happened. Okay, this is, I had paused it. There we go. This made so much sense now. I had to record it twice. All right. Um, so yeah, we'll just go through it. And this ended up being a zone coverage. I know a lot of people blame. I think they blame Cam Smith like he blew his man coverage, but he wasn't in man. He was in zone. Um, and the play just, you got two people going down the line there. I mean, honestly, the fact that Cam was still covering him at that point would maybe be the only um, issue there, because if he was in zone, he probably shouldn't have even been that far back with him. But maybe he just felt like the guy was going to get open. I'm not entirely sure. I just, yeah, this is definitely zone coverage. And there was, say it's, Cam didn't blow his man coverage assignment on this. Let's just be clear about that. Just the guy got behind the zone, basically, and that was that. It does look like a blitzer. Perhaps he was spying. Perhaps he was a spy, and then he's got an order that, hey, if he sees a hole as a spy, he can try to blitz through it. So that also sometimes spies will crash if once if they see an opening. They are some coaches have given that leeway. So no way to know that for sure. It was probably just a blitz, and a zone, obviously a zone coverage. Seen a lot of zone in so far in this game. All right, the next play I'm gonna bring up is very specific for a very specific reason. I want you to look where the coverage is over here. All right. Not that he's super far back, but he's not, defender is not close to the line. And he's backing up more. And the play's going to go to that side, and they're going to see leverage to that side. There's nobody over here like filling, there's not going to be enough numbers over here. They just start burning us and killing us to the, and I think they're playing zone a lot. I think this is why. It's a lot of, doesn't make sense to me that he's dialing up so much zone when he's played man so much and sent blitzers. Now we're doing lots of soft zone, and they start burning us to the perimeter a lot in this game. And we got burnt to the perimeter a lot in the last game, and it came back to once again the holes in the coverage. How far this guy is back and how far this guy is back. And as you see the play develop, that hole there's just a lot of green in here. So once they get the ball to this guy, there's just so much green in that area. There's just no way that the defender can get there before he gets that much yardage. I mean, that's I think it's a first down, close to it there. And just based on how soft the zones are and how far back he was and how much space they were given, they were able to succeed out of this. And we saw this in Missouri, and it's something, once again, I'm going to keep watching for as this game continues. I'm going to keep this one quick. I'm going to keep this quick because um, we're successful in this. The edge guy gets in and pressures the quarterback, and he makes a bad pass. Once again, it is zone coverage, and you'll notice that, once again, we're not sending, a lot of blitzers or anything. It's going to be, but the one guy gets in. And the reason I'm pointing out this play is, once again, there's going to be a lot of green grass. If the pass would have come here, this could have been a first down, but fortunately, our head, I think that's Jordan Perch he just went to the other side. Yeah, I guess Gilbert Edmond was in over here. Jordan was able to crash in and blow up the play. And a theme, and a real big theme for us in this game, and what saved us on the defensive side of the ball, even though I know everybody said, oh, we got pushed around. That's not what I saw. Our defensive linemen continue to get into the backfield a lot. Every game, they're really getting into the backfield and disrupting plays, and they've been doing it all year. Coach White had brought that up in a press conference. My guys are always in the backfield, but they're pursuing at the wrong angles and this and that and yada yada. But it's not untrue. I mean, they're definitely in the backfield a lot. Our defensive linemen are not getting pushed around. So yeah, but there was once again a big soft zone in a short down situation, 2nd and 1. So it could have gone somewhere else and could have easily been a first down here. Okay, so the next play only highlights more why we need spies. This team continues to run read option on us, and the only way this play was going to get stopped short of the first down was if Darius Rush wasn't having to keep his eye on the QB to make sure he didn't have the ball so that he could go ahead and crash in here and get his hands on this guy earlier. But because he had to hesitate to make sure the quarterback didn't have the ball, he was not able to just crash in and get the running back. If there had been a spy available to spy the quarterback, then he would have been able to crash in there and make that play. So yeah, spy is a very important thing to have. I think it's got to be utilized. You by hearing me talk, you're like, well, you think they need a spy on every play? Well, I mean, every read option play you do, but you can't always know they're going to read option. But if you put a spy in there enough, you start to cancel out their ability to run the read option so frequently. That's what I'm trying to say. All right, fortunately for us, our edge defender was able to get in here on this play because, once again, there's going to be a guy wide open here. This looks like a zone coverage again. And now this guy was reacting, so maybe he would have been there, so I can't say that for sure that we wouldn't have defended this play. But the zone coverage looked like it had soft holes once again, and somebody was sliding through there. We got to be careful. But yeah, once again, I mean, edge defender Gilbert Edmond this time is able to get in there, blow up the play. He's there. Immediately making the quarterback having to get rid of it, which is funny because I heard our D line was getting pushed around. I have not seen our D line get pushed around yet in this game. All right, so on this play, this is just going to be kind of good offense from Vanderbilt. It's a counter play, and it does what a counter play is designed to do. You're going to notice that our D lineman doesn't get pushed around here. He's following where it looks like the blocks are going. He's trying to get through the hole, thinking that that's where he's supposed to go plug it up. Because it's a counter play, these linemen are pulling, and they take him out of the equation. And he still was pushing. He almost closed that hole. And the plays missed right here, probably more by, is that our linebacker or is that another? Yeah, our linebackers. And then that's where our biggest weakness right now in our defense is definitely our linebackers. So no issues with play calling on this one or anything like that to be able to pick on, except for once again, it's a lot of field. There's a lot of field between these guys, and they got numbers over here. If this had been a wide receiver screen, say like they had a sliding receiver screen where this guy was going to slide in behind, these guys ran up to start blocking on these guys, and this guy was coming out behind them. It could have ate us up. That's what Missouri did to us. There's just so much room all the time. There's just so much room. I don't know why we don't play up to the line a little bit more frequently. You can't do it every play, but once again, it's that mixing things up. Obviously this wasn't a pass play, so it didn't matter. But I am trying to keep my eye on other areas of the game, even when it's not part of the play. So I am learning how to do this more and more. But yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna give Vandy credit for a good run play here, and a little bit our linebacker, just didn't quite pluck up the hole. But it was not the D line, not get pushed around. All right, I'm bringing up this play because it highlights the what I was talking about this issue with this kind of man switch kind of thing that I feel like Clayton's trying to utilize, because it almost presented like a zone by the way this guy was left open. Wow, this guy took off with him, and this guy, like there just ended up being a wide open zone, and we were lucky the pass wasn't good, and missed. But I feel like what happened here that gave that guy that opening was that here they were trying to, like, he was going to switch off to this man, seeing him coming across, and I guess he was expecting him to pick up this man, but that's not what happened, and he continued pursuing his guy, which for me in man coverage, that's exactly what man coverage is, and left a guy right in the middle of the field. So I mean, this could have been a first down here uh, for Vandy, but it was just a missed opportunity. I just I feel like Clayton tries to be as sometimes overly sophisticated with this man switch system where they're just switching off so much, and it leaves guys open a lot of times. So once again, I mean, hey, it could have been a zone. It didn't look like a zone because most of the guys stuck with their guy through the play, and even that guy did. And there was like some sort of switch, it looked like, and they were expecting. Maybe they're trying to make sure they don't get caught up on these rub routes, and they're trying to switch off, because it could have been kind of a rub route there. I don't know, but definitely, we got bailed out by a bad pass on that one. All right, so we got another read option here. We're going to go pretty big. And because, once again, there's no spy, and the video is going to glitch here for whatever reason. I'm not going back to try to get another one. But because there's no spy, this guy's having to make a choice. Go for the running back or go for the quarterback. He decides to go initially looking at the quarterback and then tries to switch off and get the guy, but he's already got the angle to get past him. So, once again, had he had known, hey, I got a spy back there, somebody spying the quarterback, on this read option, then I would be able to crash down on the running back and allow the spy to worry about the quarterback. So, spy is very important against these read options, and I never see one. I never see one. And once again, like I said, you're like, well, you think they need them on every play. It's not that they need them on every play, but they don't put them on any plays. I'm just pointing out the amount of plays that where a spy would be a good option here, and doing it enough times would slow down the read option game some. All right, to further illustrate the last play, this is a different angle and with a little glitch. You'll see the edge defender, it looks like Gilbert Edmond coming in. He has to hesitate. He has to look at the quarterback thinking, oh, he's going to keep the ball, and then it allows the running back to have an angle to get by him. You say, somebody might try to tell me, well, Debo Williams might have been your spy right there. He's not, because he's reacting immediately to the handoff, and he's looking to get to the running back. Okay, so he crashes into the line trying to plug the hole. So he gets blocked, and that so he's not a spy there. A spy wouldn't have come crashing into the line that way. He was probably in man coverage right there and was responsible for the running back. But once again, maybe had he been spying versus um, uh, being in man coverage, then he could, it would have allowed Edmond to just go ahead and pursue the running back. Me personally, on a team like Vandy, the running back's going to be better than their quarterback at running with the ball. I personally I would want to force them to make the quarterback start keeping the ball more. Okay, well, here we go again. Look where our defensive backs are. There's so much space. Now, I don't know if Vandy noticed this against Mizzou and they're going to start utilizing it themselves. But once again, there's all this space. It's going to give us leverage out here to where these guys can go up. These receivers are going to get up there and they're going to, start blocking. And this guy's going to obviously, he's a running back. He's faster than our linebackers and our defensive line. Just naturally, a running back is always supposed to be faster than the linebackers and D-line. So he's going to be able to beat them to the edge. This is kind of like a little funky toss. It's kind of cool design because it ends up being a run play. It's not a forward pass, so it's going to look like a run play there. It's going to get run yardage. But because it was such soft defense on the edge out there, they just took it out there and boom. And once again, see the same holes that we saw from Missouri. Um, and does it break big? No, but I mean, 5 yards or so every running play is, that's a lot. And you're giving that to them. You're basically just saying, hey, here's a soft zone, run it to that hole. I don't mean soft zone as in soft zone coverage. It's a soft area of the field here. Now, the very next play, oddly enough, is a screen pass out to the perimeter. And if you watch, our guys aren't quite so far back this time. Okay, they do have numbers though. I would have, yeah, okay, so we see number, yeah, okay, so E-Man is starting to kind of slide out there as he sees the numbers. Um, and yeah, I'm pretty sure, nope, yep, nope, yep. So Sherrod Green also saw that and saw the leverage out there and started closing the gap. However, had these DBs been further back like they have been, that wouldn't have mattered because they would have had enough room to get some yardage out of that. The fact that the DBs were a little bit closer to the receivers in this particular instant is what kept this play from breaking bigger or breaking at all. We were able to shut it down. Especially at least one guy is up close to the line, and that makes a challenge. It's kind of like a little obstacle right there in the way for this guy to have a clean, quick path, and then by that time the other defenders are also able to diagnose that and get in there. But had they been further back, that would not have been the same scenario. So this time our coverage was a little closer to the line and shut down that perimeter play. All right, so next play, same thing. Let's look at where the hole is going to be. All right, it's going to be here again. All right, and the pass is going to go there. There's going to be a soft area in this field right here. Fortunately for us, once again, like earlier, the pass is missed, and we're not able to, they're not able to capitalize on an opportunity where we left them a lot of green on a very short yardage situation, on a third down too, where that they're more likely trying to get a first down versus trying to get some big gain. They need a first down and they need to keep their drive moving. So they weren't probably looking for a big bomb pass. You got to be prepared for that. Of course, you can't not be prepared for that. But there was also a lot of room to where, you know, there was some space there for them to get the first down. It was just missed. All right, so to further highlight what I was just saying on that last one, you're going to see on this replay angle how much area there was for this play to happen. It was harder to see on the last angle. On this one, you could see, and we got burned with this. Sunday's got to be the worst day for me. I'm always losing my voice for some reason. Um, and I think it's these night games are killing my schedule. I wake up all tired and just, I'm doing so much work, so I'm sorry. Forgive my voice during this. But yeah, just that it continues to burn us. This happened a lot in Missouri. Just being had been so far back on, especially in these short, because this was a 3rd and 4, these short yardage third down situations. This is where we're giving up these first downs. It's like, hey, we're looking to get them back off the field. And unfortunately, once again, they didn't make the play. We're very fortunate they didn't make the play, but this was it could have been made, and for the same reason again and again and again. Now, if you followed my breakdown last week, you would hear me talk about how I don't see Clayton White dial up cornerback blitzes nearly enough, especially off of zone coverages and whatnot. This looks like a zone coverage, and we had a cornerback blitz. And guess what happens? Blindside blitz comes in, fumble happens, you know, and cornerback blitzes are huge. I just don't feel like we utilize them enough because, you know, Do you want to always send your cornerbacks on blitzes? No, that would be foolish to do it all the time. But you do it sometimes because it's a surprise. It's a different attack. You know, our backer, as you see, drop back in the coverage. Definitely zone. Definitely a zone blitz. Definitely a zone cornerback blitz. So that was, you know, this was a good play. I just want to see this a little bit more frequently. That's my main critique here, is that I just don't feel like Clayton White has dialed up enough zone blitzes and enough cornerback blitzes. And then he does, and then boom. Oh, do I have to say it again? Because, this is why I started cutting the video short last time. Um, Once again, our cornerback's way back here. Watch what's going to happen when they bring this man in motion. He brings even more numbers to over here, and it's going to take too long for everybody to get over there because there's already such a gap where the cornerback was actually more responsible for this play. He was so far back, and it just gives them, I think they got a good 7-8 out of that one. But I mean, that only happens because they saw how far back. I mean, I don't even think they would go for this. I think this was an audible once they saw how far back this guy is sitting and how much leverage they could gain from having him back. God, if Clayton White hadn't have blocked me on Twitter, I would post this to him and say, hey, here you go, man. I hope they watch this stuff. I can only hope they watch this because I feel like they need an outside perspective sometimes, other than just, everybody gets on Twitter and comments on the play as it happens, and this happened. I'm really putting this work in, guys. I do this, because I love the Gamecocks and I want to see them succeed, and I hope that, my analysis, means something to people and things like that. I've been a little grouchy, a little grouchy with, Clayton White, just because I think more because it's just like nobody's looking at him. I don't think he's a bad coordinator, just like I don't really think Satterfield's a bad coordinator either. I just think they have a lot of things they need to work on. They're both young in their position, especially being in the SEC. They just like this needs to get fixed, and it's taking too long to get that fixed. It takes too long in the game before he's realizing this is something that's happening. I'm going to talk about this play for multiple reasons. It's like I hardly ever skip, guys. It's almost play-by-play. It's hard for me to skip a play. Um, This is not a zone read play. This is a straight man blocking. These guys are going to just, you know, they know where the play is going and they are just pushing forward for the 2 yards. Something I feel like we need to utilize more sometimes on our offensive side of the ball. The gap scheme versus the zone read scheme. Just push these guys and push these guys off the blocks. Now, at the same time, it looks like our cornerback here gets penetration on the play. Is this a block in the back? Is this not a block in the back? I mean, he's not in between, it's kind of on his side. I don't know, but pushes him off the play. Certainly gets him off the play. And our D-line did not get penetration on this particular. Obviously, Pickens is pushing through. He's on the edge too, which is very strange to me. Is he? Oh, he got pushed to the edge. Okay. He starts in the center, but he gets pushed around. Yeah, I mean, Vandy just pushed our guys off the line a little bit that time. I mean, we almost make the play a couple of times here. And guys, we got to remember this isn't always, hey, our guys didn't do their job. Vandy's got to do their job. I don't really have an issue that we didn't make this play here. Um, there's not a lot to say as far as critique is none of the things that I was looking for as far as, hey, we didn't have a spot. That wouldn't have mattered in this play. It didn't matter where the defensive backs were. I could go back and look and say, hey, were they too far back? They're actually not. They're a lot closer to the line this time. Okay, so, this short yardage situation, we had tightened up. I think we were probably prepared for the run. We just didn't make the play, and that's going to happen sometimes. Okay, on this particular play, it looks like we're probably in a zone coverage here. No spy, it's a read option, and it's just, once again, it's going to be successful. You know, we missed the tackle right there. That was huge. I was definitely on the player for missing the tackle, but hey, it's also the running back made the play. I mean, if it was on our side of the ball, we would have said, yeah, Marshawn made the right cut and broke the tackle, and we'd have been, we wouldn't have, said the thing about the other guy missing the tackle there. We'd just say, yeah, Marshawn made a great play. Okay, let's keep that in mind. But the defense did not get pushed around here. It was a linebacker or is this a safety? Linebacker misses the play. Now this play, admittedly, for me, Jordan Burch is he does kind of crash in too far here, and it's something I'm obviously watching for because somebody else brought it up. I mean, I don't see what's causing him, why he's not, what the awareness for him is here that he's not staying a little bit more on the edge to contain this guy here, because over here it would have been responsible for the quarterback if this is a read option. And he just needed to stay on the outside more because he wasn't really blocked. He just crashed too far inward. He could have been in that backfield. He could have blown this play completely up. I don't understand why. I don't know why he takes the angle he takes there at all, because there's the running back's here. He's going that way. There's a clear shot into the backfield. He's like stepping over here to plug up a hole that the running back's not even looking that way, and then he's bouncing off that guy. I'm a little baffled by that one, actually. That's For me. This one's definitely on Birch. Okay, so I kind of identified from the last play to this play, maybe what's going on here now is we've been burnt on the read option, on the outside, the C gap, or out to the perimeter several times now. And so they are starting to try to crash inward a little too hard, or excuse me, no, that wouldn't have made sense on the last play either. So, you know, Zach Pickens definitely gets out of position here. I believe that's Zach Pickens in the center here of the frame. He definitely gets pushed out of position. He is getting double teamed there. And, well, he's not. Yeah, I mean, because he gets off. You know, let's say we didn't get pushed around. Pushed around means, to me, it usually means the O line pushed our guys backwards. But they did block. They gave the guy a hole. It does look like it might not have been Zach Pickens. I think it is, but it's so hard to tell. If it's 8, it's Gilbert Edmond. If it's 6, it's Zach Pickens. But definitely, the guy was able to create a hole, and that might be Edmond. I think that's Edmond. That is Edmond. That's number 8 on that jersey, so it was Gilbert Edmond. And I have heard that Gilbert's a little bit more. He's better against the pass than the run. So that, I can't fault play calling here. You know what I mean? This is, I mean, these guys are, where they're, you know, these guys are, I will say, here you go, though. Look how far your safeties are back, and I know we don't want to get burnt, but they have no reason to keep backing up right now either. Now that's on the players at this point, but that's also on the coaching telling them to back up and to worry about their zones. The Vanderbilt's have been so run heavy. I would have had these guys, down in the box more. You know, um, Not in the box. Like I wouldn't want them way up here, but I'd want them maybe about here or so, and just kind of playing there and then backing into their zones if need be. Because they're just too far back to make the play. You know, it's hard to say that. It's very hard to say that because you don't want to get burnt over the top. But if you're in a zone coverage versus a man coverage, and let's check that. Are they in zone or are they in man? Looks like man. So the safeties wouldn't have necessarily. I mean, once again, too, if maybe you'd have brought a safety in to be a spy here more in the center, or bringing one of the safeties in a little zone here in the middle, but we keep leaving big open gaps in the field, and then if these guys, they're crashing, and I don't know if they're reacting to the running back looking like he's getting the ball, or if they were on a slightly delayed blitz, whatever was going on there, and then there's nobody up here now to clean this play up. So a zone that would have been here, and you could have one deep and one in the middle. We're never doing that, and that also presents a lot like a spy as well. So either way, we're never dropping like one person just sitting into the center and waiting to kind of see what happens. There's a zone for that, and there's also a spy for that. A spy usually is responsible for the quarterback, and zone coverage is just in there. I never see a person just kind of hanging out in the center. So, I don't say never, that's an absolute, but I don't see it frequently enough, um, that we're covering this little center area behind the line. All right, and I'm running this one. I was gonna kind of skip it because it's a good play by our D, but I'm running it to highlight the difference made in this game. Usually did not come down to me. Did Clayton White call the right plays or not? But did our D line get penetration on that play? Anytime we blow up plays is simply because our D line is getting through. Okay, and that can't always be the theme. Is that we're relying on the D line to get penetration to shut down plays, and that's kind of what's been happening. Is the D line gets back there. If the D line gets into the backfield, the play gets shut down. If the D line doesn't get into the backfield, um, we're not shutting plays down. And the D line can't be the only line of defense. No pun intended. But they can't be our only viable option. That if they're not successful, the play is not going to be uh, defended well. And it's like we see a lot of times it's either the D line or E-man. Nick Emmanuel making the play, and if they don't make them, the plays tend to go big. Obviously Darius Rush, Cam Smith, those guys do a great job in coverage on pass plays. But in run support, you don't expect your cornerbacks to always be there. Your safeties, your linebackers, your D line are going to be the ones having to make those plays more often because the cornerbacks are responsible for the receivers. So that's something we got to figure out there. It's not an effort thing. Our guys make great effort. These guys are always getting off the snap and they're always pushing hard. And they're one or two of our D linemen are usually penetrating the backfield on so many plays in every game. And and it comes down to if they can get their hands on the player or not. A lot of times, obviously, the play gets cleaned up by the defensive backs, but only because I mean the D line pushed this so far back. This kid, tries to bounce it back out, but it gave, and then E-Man was there. It changed. The D line changed his angle of the bounce out so much that it gave the D backs, the defensive backs, a chance to come and catch up to the ball. Alrighty, well here we go again. Pause this. Check out our DBs. Check them out. Check out all the space in between. Now, there's going to be a couple of broken tackles, missed tackles here that allow the play to go for a touchdown. But we were already giving up a lot of field right there for the guy to be able to make the pass. And then he makes one little cut, breaks tackle. Really, this guy whirled him around and helped him because it like he's probably gonna make the tackle here if number 19 here doesn't whirl him around out of the direction that was Sherrod Green. So 19 here whirls him around. It's just unfortunate, but I mean, it was started by, allowing that much green grass between the receivers and the DBs in the first place. And the offenses are keying in on this, guys. I mean, this is not a rub route, and it's not a screen. It's not a rub route because I mean they're not in man coverage. It doesn't look like, but I mean it's kind of set up that way because this guy is running a route and he's giving a little buffer to allow this pass to happen, and so that continues to be an issue. Just too much green in between our defensive backs and the receivers. Okay, similar to the issue, it's a little different because this run is coming through the more middle of the line, and we like to say, hey, well, our defensive linemen got pushed around. Once again, the offensive linemen are supposed to block. I don't see that our D linemen get pushed around because once again, they're not getting pushed way back or anything. They're holding their gaps. However, our linebacker here is being slow to fill up his gap. Okay, he needs to get in here. He needs to be getting in here and closing that gap a little faster. And then also, once again, our safeties are so far back here that before they can get up there and make the play, there's already several yards picked up. And yeah, our O line is starting to get pushed. I mean, our D line did get pushed back a little bit right there. I mean, it's going to happen sometimes, guys. You know, most of the play, I mean, we see our D line getting through them a lot. So to sit here and go, oh, well, the problem is our D line is getting pushed around. They're going to get pushed sometimes. I don't care, what level of team you are. You're going to get pushed around sometimes. So, and remember, we are down, one of our main starters on the line from the beginning of the season. So we've had to adjust. We're down our linebackers too. I mean, we're down linebackers too. So we got to keep that in mind. But the gaps didn't get closed up enough, and then the defensive back was so far back that it just before he get up there and help on the play, there were several yards gained. So overall, not a great play by our defense. Not a I don't want to say, hey, this was a coaching issue so much because obviously the first thing is this guy probably needed to get up here a little quicker to start filling up that gap. But then a little bit on the coaching issue because the safety's always back. And if you look, they see the safety back, and if you watch how our guys are lined up, this is our biggest gap in the line. We got two guys tight over here on this side. The defensive tackle here is shifted a little bit more to that side, so this is the gap. This is the biggest gap for them to run through, and they're going to run through that gap that we've given them based on our formation here. And then also with our line or with our safety being so far back, they have numbers in the box. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We only have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yeah, I mean, this guy's kind of in the box too, but he's not going to help this play. I mean, he almost does. I mean, he's almost there. He was almost there, but he probably also had to hesitate because he was worried about a read option again. And this is once again another good counter play by Vanderbilt because first they get the motion going that way to kind of get that eye candy going that way, give the feel of the play going that way potentially. Okay, um, where our linemen are, and then we have three down linemen, and then we have one guy up here. That creates a little gap right here. They give it a counter play, so it gives the illusion to these guys, okay, the play's going that way. So initially they pull that way, but these guys are pull blocking for the counter, and they come in and further magnify that hole that was created by us having the three down linemen there and the one guy on the outside. And they're able to, get in there and get some good yardage out of it. I mean, the only way we're going to stop that was with a different play call. For me, this wasn't, hey, the players couldn't make the play. The play call wasn't efficient enough to stop the play. Now, I'm also not saying that Clayton White had a bad play call here. I'd have to really dissect that. I'm not going to spend that much time on that. You're not going to get every play call right either. Okay, this isn't the weaknesses I'm looking for. I mean, these things are going to happen. They're going to run a good play here and there. They're going to get a counter in there. That's going to happen. They're going to take advantage of numbers on the line at different times. It's going to happen. That's what the offense is trying to do. So I don't have too big of an issue with this. Some people will look at it, well, we got pushed around. We didn't get pushed around. It was a good play call. You know, and that's just going to happen at times. Once again, I'm just going to kind of hand it to Vandy for a nice play call here. You know, this is one of those that, you know, you'll have to see a few times to get hip to it. They put the guy in motion, they bring him back across, and, you know, it gets these guys kind of committing that way. It's sort of set up like a counter play where they're kind of pushing towards that way and setting the blocks up that way. They knew that they had a one-on-one matchup out here, and so it's a perimeter run. Once he clears the line, all he has to do is, you know, worry about this last blocker, and you know, the last defender there was being blocked. You know, it was good blocking by their receiver right there. It was a good play design by them. Like I said, we use similar plays too, where we put a man in motion, get them going. You know, I mean, not just we. Yeah, every team's not every team, but I'm sure every team has at least some of those in their playbook. But you know, some use them more than others. We've used them where we get a guy going in motion, trying to get the defenders to react towards where the guy is going, and then the play goes the other way. I mean, this is a good play call. I mean, but if you look where our defenders are, they're not pushed. They're not being pushed off the line. They're right on the line. It's just the play went around them. Yeah, the play went around them. The play design was good. Now, I'm gonna say this because on this drive and in the last several plays, we're starting to see a pattern. Now there are good play calls and stuff by Vandy here. I mean, this really looks like maybe a zone read kind of thing for the running back, or he just bounces it back the other way. But we're also starting to get a numbers deficiency here. Okay, um, they're just taking advantage of our three-man line all of a sudden. We have come out play after play after play on a three-man line, and they're just running it through that. I mean, anytime that you have a three-man line, the obvious thing for the offense to do is to keep running it on you. And we're using that three-man line a lot and not changing it up. And Vanderbilt's been super run heavy this game. We are not attacking their running game enough. And that's very important, and especially considering we haven't given up big passing yards this year. You know, we keep giving up big running games. And this could be the, you know, bend don't break philosophy. We're going to give up the running game and not give up the big plays, you know, over the top and stuff. You know, we'd see a huge gap here once again. But that has no effect on this play. But I mean, this is you know, after a few plays, your three linemen aren't doing enough. Let's get a fourth lineman in there. Get a little bit more. We need, you know, we got to start stacking the box here and start shutting this drive down. And we're not. You know, we're not committing the numbers to the box, and they're just outnumbering us in the box. And once again, very next play, three down linemen. Okay, and watch, the linemen aren't getting pushed back. I mean, they're getting double teamed. If anybody's telling me these guys are getting pushed back, a lot of these guys are getting double teamed because their numbers, you know, off the line are allowing that. You only have three down linemen on your defensive line. You only got three linemen there, period, right now, and they're all getting swallowed up and double teamed. I mean, look at them, and they're still not really getting pushed back, but they are getting pinched in, and that's allowing these perimeter runs to block. I mean, the guys couldn't get back outside. If anything here, you know, your linebacker and your, you know, like Sherrod Green's going to need to not crash into this pile. And that continues to be an issue I'm seeing here, is where he's like, why are you just crashing into the pile? You know, is that necessary for you to crash into that pile right here? Would it have been better to maintain the edge? And is that just on Sherrod Green? I mean, obviously DQ Smith's there. He kind of steps inside. You know, everybody's stepping inside. We keep stepping inside a lot, you know, and then we're getting pinched. pinch, but it's not the D-line getting pushed back. I mean, if anything, watch. This dude fought through a double team. It's probably Zach Pickens. It's Gilbert Edmond or Zach Pickens? Yeah, it doesn't matter. I think it's number 8, which would be Edmonds. But I mean, he pushed through. It's not our that might be number 6. It's Pickens because this is number 8 right here. It's not, and he was playing way on the outside. He wasn't even playing on the line. But it's not that they're getting pushed around. I mean, he pushed right through the line. It's just they were pinched. They got pinched. The numbers were there, coming all the way back to here. And the way this is set, because they only got the 3 linemen here, immediately these guys are getting pinched. You watch the tight end, he stepped outside of this guy just a little bit so he could pinch him inward. And because Sherrod Green is here now, the whole defense is pinched in, and there's just a wall there for this guy to run around. It's not that the D lineman got pushed off the blocks or pushed off the line. They just got pinched in. So next play here, it just not a lot to see. I mean, coverage is kind of tight. We're not giving them a big green, grass here. Oh, he's backing up a little bit, which is fine. I don't mind that at that point when the play is kind of starting. To start to give them some space there so that you can defend the long pass easier. But pre-snap, it's easier to read, and make adjustments to that. So this was good because, and I would love to see that more. Bring the defenders in and let them start to back up as, they think the play is about to be snapped, or as the play is snapping, they're starting to give the buffer then. I don't have a problem with that. It's great. I mean, I don't have a problem with keeping our DBs back sometimes, but it's just it can't be as frequently as what we've seen. And then, you know, obviously our defensive players are getting through here and creating pressure. Was it fast enough? No, but I mean, yeah, it was coming. This guy did not have all day to make this throw and try to, make the most accurate pass. He had to get it out of there. He felt that pressure coming, and so. Overall good job by the D. I like the play call. I like the pressure. I like the coverage. Everything went well on that play. All right, and to kind of illustrate my point that we weren't, putting enough linemen in, this play we've got 4 on the line, and it blows up a little differently. These guys get through a little bit differently. They're not able to put double teams on every one of our guys because we just have another, we have that one more person on the line, and one of our guys slips through, and a second guy slipping through, and it blows up the play. So, perhaps, we should have gotten out of that 3-man front a little bit faster on this drive. Okay, well, here we go again. Defensive backs are backing up, 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 backing up. Boom. Ball comes to right there. It's a deep curl route right there, basically. I'm gonna say deep, but just a moderately deep curl route. And with the DBs is backing up so much, we're just giving that to them. We're just giving that to them. We're just, hey, here's space. Here, you guys have this space. We're just going to give you these yards. And they're just going to keep taking them. It just, it baffles me that we get into these third down situations and we just loosen up so much and give so much space across the field, and it happens at the ends of games and stuff where, we've got the lead and White's just kind of soft coveraging and stuff a little too much. And playmakers make plays happen. You give them that much space to get the ball in their hands, and they're gonna then go make something happen. In this situation, they really didn't have to. It's just there's already so much space. The first down's just there. I mean, the first down's just there, and it gets easier to defend that if you're not already giving them so much space already. Makes it harder for the quarterback to get the read on it. Hey, is there going to be space there? All right, so here we go again. We're back down to 3 down linemen there. Okay, and sorry, we're back down to 3 down, really two almost. I mean, and they just, once again they get double teamed. You go, oh, they're getting pushed off, they're getting pushed around. Well, they're getting, a couple of guys are getting double teamed. If you see, this guy is the only one not really double teamed. He's getting penetration. I mean, if your guys are double teamed constantly, they're not going to get through and make a play. So yeah, I mean, that's a numbers thing. I mean, that's a numbers thing. And Clayton White makes an adjustment here immediately. I mean, this for me is outstanding. I'm going to give him a little props here. Immediately he goes back. Hey, you know what? I'm going to bring that 4th down lineman back in. He's got 3 linebackers in here. I'm assuming linebacker might be a safety in that mix. Looks like linebackers. He's committing to stopping the running game, and that look to stop the running game. They decide, hey, we're going to go for a pass here. They're going for a little swing pass, a little wide receiver screen kind of deal here. And these can be kind of slow developing and telegraphed at times. Look where Darius Rush is. He's not back here. Had Darius Rush been back here like he's been being back, this play would have probably gotten them a 1st down. But Darius Rush is a little closer to the line this time. So, there's no buffer there. So as the ball's coming out, the initial block on him is there. And it allows, it doesn't give this guy anywhere to escape to the outside away from this. Okay. And he's able to, come in and make the play. So that was a good fix finally. We saw something get fixed. They put the right amount of linemen in. They put the DB up in there close enough, and it made a huge difference on that play. On the other side of that, there is a big, huge gap here. And let's say this guy had come up in here and did some sort of little out route or quick slant or something, because it's there. I mean, look, this guy runs a little quick slant right there. That 1st down happens. So let's keep that in mind. There is a soft zone. There was a lot of green grass over here. Just so happened the play went over there. Now, on this particular play, we are going to see that, and I believe it's Cam Smith, is backed up a little bit. There is a buffer. You'll see his feet in the play right here. Um, he comes in just in time to make the play, though. And maybe he was anticipating and baiting. They were kind of baiting that, knowing that they've been attacking that soft zone. So maybe we say, hey, we think they're going to attack that one-on-one out there in that soft zone, and Cam's got to step up and make the play. That being said, it could have, just as easily been, let's see, when the ball is released. And when is, so this could have been a pump fake and a slant and go, which may come later. Okay, in other words, like the receiver is basically running a slant here, and Cam's going to kind of knock it. It's more of a drag route, a little less slant. But it could have been enough, designed with a pump fake to make this guy commit to that, and then the receiver take off on a go. So you got to be careful in that setup, because the only way Cam's going to make that play here is he has to commit to it, because he was so far back. So if I'm the offensive coordinator on the other side of the ball, I see that happening. If I start seeing that frequently, I'm going to display to look like a quick pass right there. My quarterback's going to throw a good pump fake in that direction, and then they're gonna hit a go route. So keep that in mind. The play worked out, but that's still gonna, it can come back to bite us. Once again, it's like 3rd and 4. Did we need to give him that much space? No, but all right, we did. I'm not gonna fuss about it too much. We got out of it. Okay, we get away with this. once again, we're giving them space here, a lot of space on a 4th and 4. It works out, but not because not so much because we made the great play. If these receivers would have been, if one of them would have been taking, like, especially if the second guy bumps off of the linebacker and then has a quick out right here, we were screwed. I mean, bad. Um, because this is zone coverage and there would have been a lot of space there because he had to react to him coming through. So it doesn't happen that way, but let's keep in mind this is Vandy. This is not the other opponents we're going to have to play this year. So if we keep giving them those yards, they're going to keep taking them. They're going to keep taking them. All right. We're getting close to wrapping up our first half coverage. Once again, we're going to see a completed pass. There's a lot of green grass in here, and we're going to take advantage of it. Matter of fact, Darius Rush's guy is the one cutting across. It's kind of a rub route-ish kind of deal here, and I think he was trying to rub for him. Didn't work out, but he had enough green grass. The quarterback saw it and dumps it off. And is it a big play? No, but they are picking at those holes, where we're just giving them a lot of space, and it's a continuing theme. That's my concern. Okay, next play, DQ just kind of gets burnt here. I mean, there is the coverage is backed up a little bit once again on that outside perimeter and all. It continues to be just over and over and over again, but that's not where the play goes. So I'm not gonna emphasize that too much. I just want to point out that once again, there's a lot of spacing there. It could have been a go route to him once again, but DQ Smith just kind of gets burnt here on a little out route. That's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I'm okay with that. I'm okay. I'm okay that DQ didn't make the play here. DQ wasn't able to stick with the receiver because that's going to happen. This is football, not hey, we give you ball. It's a physical sport. They're gonna make plays. It's gonna happen. We're cool with that. I mean, we never want to be cool ever giving up anything, right? We give up negative, negative yards to the other team every game. That's the goal, but that's unrealistic. So they're gonna make plays from time to time. I don't really, let me go back and check out, O-line, coverages. I kind of quit looking to see if we were doing cornerback blitzes and zones and things like that because I've been so focused on that gap in there, and that's been the glaring issue more than a lot of other things. Because I mean, we're in the backfield a lot of times on the pass plays. It's not like there's not pressure, so I'm not worried about hey, we're not getting enough pressure on the quarterback. There's pressure on the quarterback, so that's not something I'm focusing on. I'm gonna go ahead and stop this one. All right, so initially on this play, it's not bad. He's giving up a little bit of green grass, over here. I mean, there's a little bit of spacing. I'm okay with that because the ball is on the far hash mark. So that's a long pass to make over there. That's actually the kind of play that results in a pick six if they would have gone there. And it looked like they might have been trying to go there. So, I mean, look at the quarterback. He's looking over there, but we get the pressure, in his face. And once again, on most pass plays, our guys are getting in the backfield. No big blitzes, none of that needed. Hell, I think this was just a three-man uh, rush here, three-man pass rush. Let's check it out. Yeah, I mean, we're really good in passing scenarios, like when it's pretty much, this is going to be a pass. We're really good in those scenarios. And yeah, I mean, if you try to get it out there, Cam Smith, I think that's Cam out there, probably gets an interception. So, and a pick six, honestly. So, once again, he's not back here. You know what I mean? He's not back here, and because you just call a little. It's not even a screen, a little pass out to the receiver out here and let him go make a play on a one-on-one situation. Because if he gave him that much space, that'd have been more possible. But that's not how the play goes. And also, if you notice, the defender kind of, he's kind of, he's not continuing to back up. He's staying there. He's staying there to make the play. maybe they're starting to realize, hey, every time we back up, they're starting to go there. So maybe once again they're. Um, I say that, but we'll see. Okay, so we basically got two down linemen. Our O line is so spread out. It's it's obviously going into the half, but this is also a critique I have of Satterfield is how he plays, ends of halves and ends of games. I mean, not Satterfield, but Clayton White, to where it's like he's just trying to make sure we don't give up a big play. So he's trying to drop a lot of his guys back, and he's asking his D line to do a lot because they're going to get double teamed. You know what I mean? And they're already giving up so much space. These other helpers coming in can't do a lot at that point, and the play's going to break open pretty well. Um, and for me, that's play calling, personnel usage, play calling. I don't want to fault too much because obviously we know it's going into the halftime, but we can't. I mean, two linemen. You know what I mean? Two. I mean, two. I mean, and the third one, I guess, is that third lineman. He's way out there, and then look at their numbers in the box. I mean, just. I mean, I like us at four linemen. I think three linemen is for obvious passing situations, which, um, you would say, well, this is an obvious passing situation, and maybe it was, but maybe they checked off to it. This is the issue with continuing to run those three-man fronts, though. Yeah, here we are again. We're back to the read option play. We're on a three-man front, and it's hard to fault this considering, hey, that they probably want to move the ball in the air and try to get some points here before the half. But I mean, they're catching them off guard, and they gotta, they have the ability now to run it based on numbers, and they go with the read option. They get some really good yards out of it. Doom, 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 Clayton White's definitely got to get better at how to defend against read option teams. That's for me a definite weakness. Um, I think there was a flag on this play. It was called back. There was a holding, somewhere on this play, so it did get called back. You'll see the flag kind of fly in right there at the end. I don't know. It came in really late to where the play had happened, but regardless of that point, it's still. I mean, we are having a struggle on these read options, and having a spy in helps that, especially with this QB in because we had their QB got injured. I'm just gonna let this play run here because this is the end of the half, and I'm done with my first half take. So I'm gonna give my first half take. And really, probably when I get to the second half, I'm not gonna have probably as much to talk about it just because unless there's something glaringly different. It's a lot of the same, guys. I don't want to, you know, I don't want to beat the dead horse. I mean, I could go play by play by play and show every little thing. I did want to make sure that we understood, our D line is not necessarily getting pushed around. On read options and perimeter plays, more often than not, it's not about the D line getting pushed. It's about, just not being able to get to the outside. You only have three linemen here, like in this situation. We only have one down lineman. It just, obviously too, though, I mean, with the one that on this particular play, our perimeter run game should have been better considering we had numbers to the outside, but we didn't get there. We didn't happen. It's okay. I'm not like heartbroken over it. But it's definitely, it's definitely, looking like an issue more in play calling than anything else. Go, well, why is Vandy running it here? Obviously, this is an obvious passing situation, and it's not. I mean, they had enough time to run it and try to get the ball down in the field goal position, and they did. I'm pretty sure that they might not have gone for the field goal here. I don't remember because they obviously missed one earlier in the game that we know about. But oh, they didn't because of the penalty was the holding call. Okay, but the numbers game there and no spy. That's the same stuff. We don't have enough guys on the line. I understand you're more concerned about the big pass here, not giving up, a big score, but you know, we're also playing Vandy. There can be a little bit more aggressiveness to it here. We get a little bit more people on the line. And, every time we're in a four-man front, we're super disruptive. When we're in a three-man front, they're able to double up on us, and double up on our guys and shut down our defensive penetration. So overall, my take from the first half is, just a lot of the same from the Missouri game. We're giving them a lot of space to work with. The DBs are playing back too often. And we're not using a spy like ever, or a middle zone player versus a too deep, man where, like I said, you look at these two guys as safeties, they're always, dropping back into the safety coverage where they're dropping back to help make plays on the outsides or wherever they need help to make the plays. But there's also, sometimes one of these guys can be dropping in, for either spying or a inside little zone there, while the other one's dropping back. You got to mix it up. And I don't see that, I don't see that type of play calling like ever when I'm breaking this stuff down. I never see those scenarios. I've seen a lot less blitzing this game. I will tell you that, like tons less blitzing. So, maybe White was trying to play with something new in this game, completely, because I've seen a lot more zone so far in this, but it's still the theme of giving them too much space to work with continues to be an issue. So we'll see how, maybe I don't do a second half breakdown because, maybe I do, but maybe I won't put as much time into it because I feel like it's going to be a lot of the same. I've seen the same thing through Missouri. I didn't do defensive breakdowns like this, before because, there's so much questions about the offense and the offense. And these last couple of weeks, I was feeling like, you know what? Last week, against Mizzou, it was like, well, what is there to say? The offense just stunk, in that game. I could, no use coming into the chat rooms or creating content talking about, and I did create content talking about the offense, but no use, making that a priority last week. We pretty much could tell offense stunk it up. But that gave me a chance to really finally do a really good analysis of the defense. And this week I really wanted to stick with that because I see the glaring issues that I'm telling you about. They just keep coming back. It keeps coming back. It keeps being a thing. And we want to see, we want to see our coordinators fix things, and not just fix them, but fix them quickly. Not after a game is lost. Not, let me be a little bit more broad. Not a few weeks from now. Not a week from now. After or not after a loss. We want to see those fixed middle of the game, first quarter of the game. We want to see those things getting diagnosed early. And especially when you already have, especially in like this scenario, we're talking about the defensive coordinator's tendencies and things he's leaving open, you know, you've already got film on what happened last week. I'm providing you film. Maybe I'm stupid. I don't know anything about football, but I mean, it keeps happening. The plays keep going where I'm saying and what I'm pointing out here. And I'm not stupid about football. It's admittedly, I played 1 year of organized football, but I did play a lot of football with the football players many years just on the playground, but I was one of the better football guys. I usually was, always out for receiving and stuff. But we played, a lot of football, but we watched a lot of football. I've been studying football since I was a child. It's not new to me to see football. Did I play to the level of these guys that we're currently picking at right now? No, 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 no. I played all three sports. I understand athletics. I understand film study. I understand, combat sport. This is a sort of combat sport and strategy and things. And it's, being an MMA coach, my number one job was finding opponents' weaknesses and our weaknesses, and this is, and making sure those things were either used against the opponent or used, or we fixed our weaknesses. I expect people who should be better minds than mine at football to see these holes that we're giving them and fix them. Anyway, that's my take on the first half of our game against Vandy as far as how our defense played and how the play calling went. And I may, like I said, I may not even do the second half. I may go through them and see how much of it was similar. If I see a lot that was changed, maybe I'll put out a second half video. But the first half of the Missouri game and the second half of the Missouri game, they were pretty much the same. And just watching the game last night when we were, while it was live and whatnot, there was no difference to me, from the first half to the second half. I mean, they kept coming back and they kept coming in, and they kept taking advantage of a lot of the same things the whole game. So, and this is Vandy. This is Vandy. So let's keep that in mind. we got, if we're going to do any better than 6 wins this year, we're going to have to do better than we did against Vandy. And certainly Mizzou. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. I appreciate, I continue to get support in my inboxes and things, from people who say, hey, you're doing a great job, and keep up doing what you're doing. We do notice, and things like that. And so I'm thankful for all of that, and thank you so much for you that tune in and see the work I'm putting in. Thank you so much.